Well, it's a pretty nice day outside. Still a little cold, but got the day off of work, and we're gonna start working on the rest of the ground posts here for the hoop house build. Just went through and sanded off all the metal burrs from when we cut the existing ones down to the right height, and then just gotta work on now pounding in a couple of the other posts, and then I'm gonna put and sandwich a smaller piece of the top rail in the middle, bolt those on, and then put another post just so we can get it up to the same height. Also, because of the grade here, it goes down, probably drops nearly 1.5 feet from the top, so keeping our line level, this will allow me to put the ground posts in just a little bit more into the ground versus at the top, you know. So we'll have a good at least 3 to 4 feet in the ground, and then, you know, keep everything nice and level all the way top across. So let's see how much we can get done today. We had the irrigation company come out. We got another hydrant here installed so that this will be right inside of this hoop house when we get everything framed in. That way, you know, we don't have to worry about running hoses or anything from the other hoop houses or the hydrants outside. We'll have a hydrant right here in the house. I can hook up my my PVC plumbing and everything here so that I can get you know, things and lines ran where I needed to for all of the reservoir fills. All right, we got these 4 here. You can see we've got these ones pounded all the way in down so that there's 4 feet in the ground. Now we got that one over there too. So next up, because, you know, these did take a bit more hammering into the ground, they you know, they kind of mushroomed out on the top a little bit, so I'm going to cut those off with the reciprocating saw, and then we'll move on to the next step of getting a pipe in the middle so that we can slide over another ground post on top so we can get to the right height we need. Well, made quick work of that. Cut these off. Now what I'm going to do is just take a piece of sandpaper and get all of these metal shavings and burrs off of there. That way, you know, it's safe to handle for your hands, but also when we put plastic up here, there's no edge on that's going to get caught and rip that plastic. All right, got our top rail here, and what we're going to do is we're just cutting this down. I marked it at 1 foot and I marked it at 2 foot. I'm going to cut it at 2 foot, and then just like this, I've already got one done. So this will just go right in there. Just gotta make sure I don't drop it. So it'll go right in there. It'll be 1 foot in, and then we'll put 2 screws in that. And then on the top one, we'll do the same thing. When we slip new ground post on top, we'll put another 2 screws, and this should help keep that next ground post nice and secure to the bottom one. Well, we got the second piece on now. So we just sandwiched a piece of the top rail in the middle, and then put a couple bolts in here so that we've got a foot here and a foot here of that top rail in the middle of the ground post, and then put our other piece of ground post on. We had I'd already marked, but we put our level mark back on here, so we knew that from that level mark we needed at least 3 feet up. So that's what we did, and everything now looks pretty level. Not sure, you can kind of maybe see, I don't know. Everything's now pretty level on there, and all the posts are pretty much lined up, and we got that one over there as well. So now we are ready to put in the rest of our hoops. We got a hoop. Took about 5 minutes to put all those in. We still have to bolt them in and secure them, and also then level and make sure that they're all relatively the same height on the top. But that's it. We got all of them in. Feels good now. can actually see the structure, and we can get a sense for how big it actually is. Well, we got all the hoops secured. Put a bolt into each one of them here and all the way down. We had secured that side first, and there's a 9-inch mark at the end of each one of the hoops, so we knew, you know, how far to put them into the ground post. But it's always a good idea to also check with someone at the end, just seeing if, you know, they are relatively, you know, the same height. So we secured one side first, had the other sides relatively at that mark, but got up there and took a look and had Jill adjust up and down so that they were, you know, as close as can be. Once we start putting on each one of the purlins through here, we'll be able to kind of move those and line them up a little bit better, and everything will start to take shape. I've lined out the baseboards, so these are just 2x6 lumber, 8 feet long, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the baseboards on here, so that way the poles, the ground posts, won't be able to, you know, move back and forth that way. And then after the baseboards, we'll move to putting up the hip rail, and the hip rail will also keep them from moving back and forth, you know, as they, you know, they all will start to line up and take shape. Here we are, made a lot of progress today. We got all the hoops up, we got our baseboards on. We still have to put the blocks in between each of the joints of the boards, but you know, we were able to get them all on both sides. Everything's secured down, all the hoops are secured. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start working on our, well, it really is the hip board, but it's going to be more like a headboard. We're gonna come up here at 72 inches, so 6 feet up, and then this entire space in between will be our roll-up side. So we'll have insect netting here that'll be there the entire time, but then we'll have the side so that we can roll up the plastic, and we'll have a lot of good ventilation in this house versus the other house where the roll-up side's a lot lower, a lot smaller, so we just don't get as enough crosswinds and everything. Even though we have the huge fan, it still gets, you know, extremely hot. We just don't have a lot of airflow. So making a lot of progress. Today was a good day. See how much we can get done tomorrow. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Do the hoop-de hoop, do the hoop-de hoop, do the hoop-de hoop.
The hoop-de-hoop dance.